So hello and welcome to the Lewis Nichols Show. I'm excited to bring on my next guest today with so much to talk about because this is a new band from what I know, and I'm sure the audience, the Sunbirds. So let's say hello to Dave Hemingway and Phil Barton. How are you both?
Hello. Yeah, good.
So, I mean, it's an exciting time for you at the moment because you're releasing your new album. It's going to be out tomorrow. So you must be over the moon because a lot of work's gone into this.
Yeah, it's took a long time. It's basically the best part of 2 years, really, going from first demoing the songs to the finally finishing the recording and getting the album out there tomorrow, as you say. It's been a long process, labour of love, and doing it all ourselves, really. And it'll be great that's finally out there, and hopefully people can get a listen to it.
I mean, because Dave, a lot of people obviously know you from your time in the Beautiful South. So I wanted to ask you how you both actually came together to work together to create this band. I mean, how did that all come about for you both?
Well, after the Beautiful South finished, we got together with a few people from the Beautiful South, Ali and Dave stayed, and talking about forming a band, the South, to basically play Beautiful South songs, ended up some sort of tribute band, really, if you want. And we needed a guitarist, and Ali knew Phil and brought him along, and that's how we first met. And so we did the South together for a few years, and then that's how we met. And then I left the South and was looking for after a couple of years doing nothing in particular, I was looking for another project to do because I still felt I had some songs left in me to do, new songs, and Phil came along with a batch of songs which I thought were really good, and we took it from there, really. So
very modest there, Phil.
Oh, well, yeah.
I mean, how did that feel for you? Because obviously, I mean, Dave and the success that the Beautiful South had, incredible. So to work with, what was that like for you?
Mental, quite frankly. I was just incredibly lucky. What can I say? Yeah, that's not a very good answer. Yeah, that's an interview, isn't it? Sorry. I'm
gobsmacked, he was.
Yeah, I guess it's. I suppose it's a sort of that kind of don't give up sort of philosophy. I've done music all my life, and I've kept going through whatever situation I've been in. I've always sort of kept the music going, no matter how kind of thing. And I was kind of actually before I heard, you know what, I don't know if I can do this anymore, sort of thing. So it was a funny thing that Ali got in touch at that time, and all of a sudden I'm off big gigs, with these famous people, all these and Dave,
and me,
and to these amazing songs and living the dream, basically, going on tour and the big bus and everything. And I was like, of me for the gig, really, and it's lucky that Dave happens to like the songs that I'm writing and can sing them so well. So I mean, what can I say? I'm just a very, very lucky boy.
I mean, I've listened to the album, and what I love about this is because I love what, I never mean to be rude when I say to people, but real music, because this feels like, with the instruments, everything, it doesn't feel like it's just been done on a computer. It's exactly what I would have expected, but it seems very different. I don't know if people are expecting music similar to the Beautiful South, but this is very different, I feel. And I love the music. So when it came to putting this album together, what were the kind of inspirations behind it? Because it feels like two musical minds just coming together and rolling with it, and it's the results are incredible.
Well, thank you very much. It's very kind of you. it's yeah, we were kind of keen. I think I know Dave's keen, and I'm to get away from, what he's done in the past. Although it wasn't really a conscious decision, let's go off and do something completely different, because a song's still a song, and if it's going to have Dave singing it, it's going to sound a bit like all the stuff that Dave's done in the past. But recently I've been getting more as I don't know, I'm into every sort of style of music. There's not one, I don't sort of categorize myself as this or that. But the one style that's come to me recently is country. Maybe because I'm older now, and that's the sort of music when you get a bit mellower, you start you start to see the beauty in it. And I just didn't realize, I always thought country was sort of Dolly Parton, but you start listening to some really good stuff.
Not wrong with Dolly.
Not there's anything wrong with Dolly. No, sorry, God forbid. What have I said? Sacrilege. But it's like any sort of art form, really. You delve deeper into it than what you get is the kind of the mainstream of it, and then you look underneath, and there's like all this fantastic stuff also going on, So that was a kind of world that I'd never really explored. And
having said that, it's purely a country album. There's certainly a few songs on there that I like that. Phil's just said, but we hopefully covered other areas as well. But it's got that sort of laid back feel.
Yeah. But exactly that, yeah, because you're not going to suddenly forget everything else that you've listened to all your life. So all these other bands that you like and have listened to as alongside that all your life, it's all just thrown into the pot, really, and you end up with what it sounds like, I suppose. So there are moments that are more kind of, because I'm a guitar player, so I do like to hear a bit of guitar on a song, and there's a couple of songs on there that needed that kind of edge that a good sort of guitar sound would give it, and if you're going to sort of play a rock song, do something rocky, then you may as well do it properly.
Rock out.
Yeah, rather than this kind of not a sort of soft rock way, just like proper, really like good guitar sound. It's a hard thing to express, but it's all just thrown in the pot, all these different styles, but country is the kind of the predominant one throughout the album.
And I mean, Dave mentioned there, kind of a laid back feel. And that's the great thing about the album, because it really is just, it's one of those you get easy listening. And I didn't feel it was a country album, actually. Listen, it did for me cover everything. I wouldn't have put it into a specific genre. And that was, I think, is the great thing about this. And obviously we're in a bit of a weird times at the moment, because normally I guess you'd go out there and do live shows with this album and, be promoting it in studios, but actually with the way of the world, it must be difficult for you to put so much into this, but not being able to showcase it the way that maybe you would have liked to.
Yeah, it's definitely true. In a normal world, things all being equal, we'd be out there now touring on the back of the album and trying to get people out there to come to the gigs and listen to the new songs and hopefully like them, get some feedback from them, if they don't like them or whatever, but getting feedback and doing gigs. As it turns out, we still haven't done a gig as Sunbirds, so the next gig we do will be the first gig. Wow. So all exciting stuff, and it's all nervy, and pressure, but in a good way. It's all a good problem to have. It's exciting for us, and it's what you're in a band for, isn't it? To go and be excited and have, go out there and play to people and let them hear your songs. So hopefully, if we can get back sort of spring next year, something like that, fingers crossed, then we can get a proper tour together, go up and down the country and get people come to the gigs and hopefully enjoy the songs. And that's what we would like to do.
And I mean, with you, in regards to the album release tomorrow, you've had so much success, obviously, as we mentioned previously, but are there still nerves and anxiety about, how this album's going to be received by the audience? Because this is all new to you at the moment with the Sunbirds. So, I mean, what are your feelings with this in regards to the album release?
Yeah, it's just as exciting for me now with this releasing this album as when our first album I ever was involved with got released. It's just as exciting now as it was then. Every album you do and every time you put something out there for people to listen to, you're always edgy thinking, you want them to like it, and you know what sort of feedback you're going to get. And you want people to like it, of course you do. And nothing has changed, even though I'm a lot older these days. You know, it's still a great excitement for me to put the album out there and get people to listen to it and say what they think. You know, as I say, if they've got criticism, so be it. But that's fair enough. But it's just exciting. It's edgy, just like the gigs are going to be when we eventually get to do them, hopefully soon. And it's what you're in a band for, and it's why you do it, because it's exciting and it's scary and it's good. And I just want people to like the album, but it's definitely just the same excitement as when you first ever do it.
I mean, I'm 27 and I absolutely loved it.
I envy you.
I know people expect me to be listening to 3 discs of Kanye, but I mean, I loved it. So
I'm glad. No, I'm glad youngsters like yourself like it, you know.
I'm 27. I've just had a hard life.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. I mean, hopefully you don't have to be a certain age to enjoy music. You know, you can be any age. It's not pigeonholed where you just right. I'm this sort of age, so I've just got to like that sort of music. It doesn't work like that. Music's for everybody, every age group. So yeah, hopefully people just listen to the album, takes it on merit. They don't just think, oh, because the band are a bit older, therefore the audience has got to be older. You know, it doesn't work that way. If it's a good album, and hopefully it is, then everyone can have a listen to it. You know, there's no age limit on music.
Well, one thing I did want to ask you both, really, which is obviously where your love for music actually came from. So as a kid, for both of you, was it always your ambition to work in the music industry, or was there something completely different that you were looking to do? I mean, if we start that with Phil. I mean, have you always done that?
I've always wanted to be a musician, full time. And it's kind of later in my life that it all started to happen for me. But I, as long as I can remember, it's one of those, you know, I remember being my first sort of, my what do they call it? My calling was when there was a school band, and they were just playing in the assembly room, you know, just live drums, live guitars and bass. And I'd never heard a live band, you know. It was a kind of whatever I was at 12, 13, I guess, something like that at school. And just loved it. I thought that's what I want to do. And I got talking to the guitar player straight away. We became friends pretty quickly. And, you know, I went back to where he lived, and he had a drum kit set up in his front room, and he was cranking out this guitar through a Marshall in his front room. I thought, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So that's where it started for me, yeah. And, you know, I've just been lucky that this has come along now, you know.
You know, for you, Dave, I mean, what's the story for you? Because, I mean, you've done this for so many years.
Yeah, well, for me, it started, go back to the Beatles, which I know can be a cliche, but when I was 6 years of age, my brother had a party, and he let me put the records on. He said, you know, you can have that job, and big responsibility putting the records on at my brother's party. But one of the albums that was on was Sgt. Pepper's, and I heard that, and straight away, I you know, I just felt I loved this music. You know, I love music, and it all went from there. And I always wanted to be in music and do stuff. And I joined bands and played. And you always think, okay, you're never going to make it and work full time, because very few people get that fortunate to do that. But I always thought I'd always be playing music. I'd still be playing in bands now, even the fact that I, you know, hadn't sort of made a living out of it and being able to do it full time, I'd still be doing it because I love music, and that's that. So, and I just, you know, you never think you're going to be able to do it full time. And I was 26, same age as more or less you are now, that when I first joined the House Martins. And so I thought that maybe I'd never have the chance to do it full time, and that came out quite late at 26, because you think by that time you've maybe missed your chance. But yeah, I've loved music ever since, and I'd still be doing it if I wasn't sort of doing it as making a living out of it.
Well, I've got to say, I mean, the album Call to Be Kind, you've definitely made your mark with this, because I didn't know what to expect when I was sent it. I didn't know if I was going to compare it to your previous work, but it's so individual to you both, and I think it's incredible. And I really hope people, you know, get this. We're going to play it on the show, and the link will be in this interview as well for people to download it. So best of luck with it, and thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Indeed.
Thanks.
Thank you.